My next guest is going to be boxing on the Teofimo Lopez undercard on June 19th. He's going to be taking on Mike Wilson. It is Mike Hunter joining me here on the program for the very first time. Mike, how's it going?
How you doing? I'm good.
Good to hear, man. Where am I getting you right now? I see you're in the car. Are you coming from training, going to training? Where am I getting you?
Yeah, no, I'm just now coming from training, about to go grab something to eat.
Good stuff. Well, I won't keep you too hungry, man. We'll get through this pretty efficiently, but it's good to chat with you, man. First time we've had a chance to talk. How did you get involved in combat sports? Where did your boxing journey start?
My dad was a fighter, and on my mom's side, my mom's dad, my grandpa, owned a Muhammad Ali boxing gym in Santa Monica back in the days. So I come from a long line of boxing.
Yeah, so it was inevitable. You probably had like a boxing glove right out of the womb, right? Like it's part of the family, like you were saying.
Absolutely. My brothers, my cousins, we all just grew up watching, the fight nights. We look forward to that.
Yeah. Back when ESPN used to have the fight nights, that was always great. Who did you like watching when you were coming up? Obviously, it's in the family, but were there any boxers that you gravitated towards that you really enjoyed watching when you were growing up?
Well, one, my dad, because if you ever watch him, he was very entertaining type of fighter. And fighters also like that. Like Prince Nassim was one of my favorites. Roy Jones, I loved Roy Jones. Those guys that, were electrifying,
Yeah, and not just good boxers, but showmen as well, right? Like I'm sure that, and that's part of it, right? That's how you market yourself, as being kind of that showman on top of that. So that's pretty cool as well. At what moment did you know this was something you wanted to do as a career? It's one thing to train it, but then it's another thing to know you have the talent to do this professionally.
Yeah, that's kind of a big story. My dad was working and training. He retired, and he was training as a trainer and fitness, coach and type of stuff. And he was training some celebrities and stuff in California, and then he passed away. He got shot by the police, and police brutality type of situation. And that I was already starting to box prior to his death, trying to get him closer to my home and be around me and stuff like that, because I was daddy crazy, So for me, I was trying to do it, so we could bond in a sense, have something for me to, attract them towards me. And he never did see any of my fights, and he passed away. And that was also, when he passed away, that was a moment where I knew I was going to do it for forever. I was going to make it a profession. So even though I was an amateur, I actually looked at it professionally from a very, very young age.
Okay. That makes sense. I was looking at your resume. One of the fights that stood out, I come from the MMA world. That's mainly what I do a lot of my interviews in. I saw you fought Fabio Maldonado. What was it like getting to fight him? Because he's a guy that actually fought the former heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic.
Man, yeah, what's funny is when I looked him up, I was just highly impressed with his MMA resume. I mean, he fought Rampage Jackson.
That's right. I was at that fight. That was in Montreal, actually. That was a last-minute fight, too. It was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it was. I watched it. And he also fought, who's the other one? Who's the GOAT?
He fought Glover Teixeira as well. That was another big fight he had. Glover's going to be fighting for the title. And he fought Fedor Emelianenko.
That's who I was talking about.
Yeah, Fedor. That's I don't know how, because that was after his.
He almost beat Fedor. He had Fedor.
I know. I think some people. I think some people. If you would have asked some people, they thought he actually did beat Fedor. It was some weird judging, right?
Yes. Yep,
so.
Yep. So. Yeah, it was a pleasure to be in the ring with him. It was an honor. I like fighters that are like that. It was really interesting in the story, the background, to look him up and actually see his history and see how much of a GOAT that guy is. So
it's cool. Let's talk about this fight. Mike Wilson, the Battle of the Mikes. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him in this fight?
I think I'm going to do well. We had some past experience. I fought him in the amateurs. I was kind of the young gun coming up back in the day, and he was like the old vet that had done it once or twice, and I kind of dethroned him at that time, and so I know he's probably looking to get some get back, and but it's been a long time. I say this about Tyson Fury too. Like, I fought Tyson in the amateurs, I fought Andy Ruiz, but we've all grown. I fought few other guys. But we've all, obviously these were amateur type fights, and the layout, the game plan is a little different. The game is a little different, and we've all matured. So I think that I'm gonna fare well against him. I know he comes from a good school. He's been a fighter for a long time. He has good fundamentals, so I know it's not going to be easy. He's a good fighter, and people just don't know that.
Yeah, we'll find it out on this card. This is a big card as well, too, to be featured on. Who are some of your main sparring partners? Who do you mainly get to work with ahead of this fight?
I've been working with a guy named Jeremiah Milton, young prospect coming up. Worked with a Tyson Fury I've been working with.
I was going to mention that. I saw the photo with you and Tyson. That's pretty cool.
Yep. He went to Florida, so we'll probably be working again this week. I know his fight just changed. They're fighting Deontay now for sure. So I've been working with him. I fought him in the amateurs, but it was all good. It was all love when we see each other. No bad blood. I'd definitely like to fight him at some point, but
Yeah, no, I get it. And then do you have to cut much weight? Like, how does the weight cut go for you?
No, I'm heavyweight. It was much more different when you're in a weight class that you have to actually have a limit. Mm-hmm. The heavyweight division really doesn't have a limit. As long as I'm in shape, I feel good. Now I do have, I don't want to be too big. That'll let you know that I'm not quite in the best of shape. So, I just eat well. I'm plant-based, pretty much very close to vegan. I try to eat most of my at least 60% raw foods. It's an experience.
When did you make that switch to going plant-based?
2015. I was a vegan for a little bit, and it's very hard unless you really, I'm not the best cook and chef, and you have to eat. It's hard eating raw and kind of trying to fix different dishes to make things taste, different and good. So, and to hold the calorie intake, you know what I'm saying? So I've had to break off a little bit about it, but I definitely think it was definitely beneficial. My awareness has went up, my sensibility, my senses, my hearing, my smell, my taste is all, it feels like it's more heightened. So, yeah.
No, that's cool. There's a lot of combat sports athletes who go plant-based. I know in MMA, like the Diaz brothers are plant-based, Yancy Medeiros, there's a whole bunch. So I think it's catching on. And, I've heard the same thing that, so many things just feel better when you're not putting that much meat in you, right? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That you're, as a heavyweight, I think that's great that you're doing that. So that's cool.
And I also think, we're overdoing the meat. We have, there's more meat than plants out here, so.
Yeah, you don't see drive-through plant places, right? It's always drive-through meat, right?
That's right. So I think, if we could cut down on the meat as a worldwide thing, it would be good, for this whole situation. So.
That's great. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
I work with Bones Adams and Gary Clark. Both of those guys I really have a good connection with, or very close with. They relate to me, and we've been working for quite some time. I've been going to Bones Adams boxing gym since I was a teenager, and I've been knowing Gary for quite some time. He's been with me for a lot of the fights, Saudi Arabia, the Maldonado fight. So, these are guys I feel really good with, and it's very hard. As a fighter, it's not the best. Even though it's an individual sport, the team aspect is one of the hardest parts about boxing because of the individuality. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I have a good team going into this fight, and I'm going to display my skills on the 19th. I'm very excited about being on Triller. They gave me a great opportunity on the undercard of Teofimo, so I'm going to make it worth it.
How do you see this fight playing out on June 19th? How do you envision the fight playing out?
I envision me out skilling him, beating him to the punch. And I don't know if I'll knock him out. Like I said, he's very people don't know who he is, but I would put him up and give guys a challenge. He's not going to lay down. I would give anybody, he could fight anybody like Andy Ruiz, Dillian White. He would beat these guys, or he would definitely give these guys a tough competition. I think that I don't know. I definitely see me winning, though. I'm going to try to put on a dominant performance. I've never really had – this is my first time that I've really had a full training camp and, where I've had the means and the funds and where everything is, going in my favor. Usually I'm going against all the odds. All the odds are against me. And when we say all the odds, we're talking about, from the short time of camp and, the money and, everything. So I think I have a good hold on these situations. I think I'm going to have a fantastic performance.
Anything in the works after this fight? I know you're not looking past June 19th, but is there anything sort of on the horizon for you after this fight? Should you go out there and get the win?
Yeah, well, I have a multi-fight deal with Triller. I'm excited about this. This is one of the deals that very rarely that I am very excited about. So I'm excited about this. I know they have this new platform. They're doing some new different things, and I'm glad to be a part of it. So, I'm definitely going to be on Triller another time. So shortly after, if everything goes well, and you'll see me again shortly. Obviously, they got tons of crazy cards that are on, and they're making crazy fights right now. So I'm going to be, on, this one, it was to Teofimo. So it was like a legit boxing card. But we don't know where I'm going to be landing on the next couple fights. So,
yeah, we'll see. What did you think of that whole Jake Paul Ben Askren fight that they had on the last card? I think it's cool because it's not, they're not trying to be like another like boxing promotion. It's Triller is Triller. It's its own thing, right? I thought it was kind of neat to see that. Yes,
I think and they're aiming for the market. They're hitting the market that they're aiming for. I think they're going to get boxing fans by bringing boxing people involved. The fans, the fighters are who we want to see anyway, or who the fans want to see anyway. So it doesn't matter what platform it's on. If it's a good fight, then people are going to come see it. So, and then, they're already expertise in all the other platforms, like you said, and their other strategies and bringing, Snoop, like you said, they're not really trying to do anything traditional in a way, but other than bring traditional fighters. So I think it's a good look for me. We don't never really know what's going to happen in the near future, but I'm not taking it for granted.
And I got to ask, just as someone who comes more from the MMA side of things, do you watch MMA at all? Does it catch your eye, seeing some of these guys fight?
Yeah. I love combat sports. I watch a fencing competition. A lot of the guys like Kamaru Usman. I lived within the Olympic Training Center while they were getting ready.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, as wrestlers, Daniel Cormier, I used to stay with, Triple C, all these guys, they know me. One of my favorite guys is King Mo.
One of the best trash talkers in MMA. I love that guy. And he's a good coach now, too. I just spoke to a fighter today who's being cornered by him. He's doing great work with coaching now, so that's awesome.
Yes, he does well with boxing too. He gives me advice. When he was fighting, he gave me fighting advice in the boxing ring that I could use. So, he's just all around. He, like you said, he's a good dude. He's knowledgeable. He's been around the best, and he's a vet. So, these guys I've been watching. I've been growing up around. So I have a more interest because I'm a little closer with these guys. And I like to see them grow. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they come from a wrestling and now they're putting the hands involved. It's really cool to see. Like I used to do the mitts with Kamar, in the Olympic Training Center. So now to see his hands develop in the way they have now,
so good now.
Yeah,
his stand-up's amazing. To finish Jorge Masvidal, that was very impressive.
Right, he's turning them over. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting.
Good stuff. Okay, before we go, we talked all combat sports. What about outside the cage? What are some of your other hobbies? I don't know if you're a video game guy or you watch any other sports. Like, what are some of your hobbies outside of boxing?
I just like, different, different characters, different people. One thing right now I'm into is the track. They got the Olympics going on right now, and I don't know if anybody's watching, but the track meets right now are going crazy. There's some young talent that are coming up, and we're going to see probably some different faces that we haven't seen in the Olympics that usually we see in these track meets. So I think we got some of the older guys retired like Bolt and stuff like that. So the track I've been kind of watching and keeping up on.
Awesome. See, I'm Canadian, and I'm older than you. Back in my day, it was Donovan Bailey. That was the guy. He used to win all the races, and he was a big deal.
What did he run?
He raced Michael Johnson back in the day. You remember that?
Oh, okay.
And they had that head-to-head race, and it's you should go look up Donovan Bailey if you haven't seen him. He was great back in the day, back in the 90s. So that's what I'm getting at. But Mike, this was awesome. Thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media you want to plug? I'll give you the last word.
Hey, thank you, and thank Triller for giving me the opportunity. Teofimo for embracing me on the undercard. He was also cool with me. He opened. Came with open arms. So, shout outs. I appreciate you guys and all my fans.